We see them across the internet. We see them within our social media feeds. Diet and fitness challenges. These diet and fitness challenges lead to a serious question that we have to ask ourselves as it comes to, can we actually use them to achieve our fitness goals? Can we actually use them to help us reach our New Year's resolutions? Well, let's talk about that.
Warning. The following presentation contains information that might contradict what you have previously heard, or believed to be true, about how the human body works, and contains material that is not suitable for closed-minded individuals. Enjoy!
When we start looking at these types of challenges, can break them up into things like nutrition-based challenges. And we start looking at nutrition-based challenges. These are things like tracking challenges, counting your calories, tracking your macros, making food logs, drinking extra water or drinking a certain amount of water within a certain amount of time, usually within 30 days, as most challenges seem to last about 30 days. Or we can look at it in terms of challenges like add a food or add a food group, or take a certain type of supplement within that challenge. Or we can do things like drink 2 liters of water, snack on vegetables as opposed to snacking on chips and cookies, eat something green at dinner, eat 3 servings of fruits, eat 3 servings of vegetables, try a new vegetable, try a new fruit, take vitamins, take minerals, take supplements, or take a specific type of supplement each day for 30 days. Or we can take a look at it in terms of a taboo challenge as I am not going to do this type of thing, such as I'm not going to eat out for 30 days. I'm not going to have added sugar for 30 days. I'm not going to drink sodas. I'm not going to add condiments. I'm going to avoid white bread or processed carbs. I'm going to have no desserts for 30 days. I'm going to skip adding milk or sugar to my coffee or to my tea for 30 days. I'm going to be dry. I'm going to be sober for 30 days. Or I'm not going to eat processed foods, or I'm simply going to be making my own food for 30 days. When we start looking at these nutrition challenges, it's all about what am I going to add or what am I going to take away from my specific diets. But those are only certain types of challenges. There are other type of challenges that we can look at, such as the diet periodization challenge, such as I'm going to do intermittent fasting for 30 days. I'm going to do time restricted eating for 30 days. I'm going to be a vegetarian or I'm going to be a vegan for 30 days. I'm going to do a low carb or a ketogenic diet for 30 days. I'm going to drink at least 2 of my meals for 30 days. A lot of these diet periodization challenges are a lot of the mass marketed diets that we get pushed when it comes to that New Year's resolution as to this is what you need to do in order to lose weight. But then we also have things like the mindfulness eating challenges. But along with those, we also have things like activity-based challenges. The activity-based challenges are going to be a lot of the exercise challenges, but it's not just exercise challenges that we think about in terms of what is exercise, such as simply be active, do 10,000 steps a day, walk 30 minutes a day, walk to the store as opposed to drive to the store, walk during my lunch break as opposed to sitting in the break room and eating, walk after dinner, walk to work, walk to school, avoid the elevators and take the stairs. Do a specific type of exercise each day without having an indication for actually doing a specific exercise or doing a specific intensity of exercise that we think about when it comes to actually having exercise as the exercise challenge. When we start looking at exercise challenges, we have things like the bodyweight exercise challenges, such as doing jump ropes, doing jumping jacks, or doing burpees, or doing calisthenics, or doing push-ups, or doing pull-ups, or doing ab or core workouts every day for 30 days. Or we can have the actual gym-based exercises, such as doing squats every day for 30 days, doing walking lunges, doing bench pressing, doing some sort of combat sport, doing circuit training every day for 30 days, or throughout the month for 30 days with some sort of rest days when we have these types of gym challenges where some of them are based off of the indication that, yes, you do need to have rest within the challenge so that you can have continuous modification taking place. But at the same time, some of them don't have those rest days indicated within them where you actually be doing the things every day. What do these challenges allow us to do? What is it going to help us with? But then we have various types of other activity challenges that are going to come into play, such as avoiding specific things that make me highly sedentary. The idea with the challenges here is to become more active, to become more aware of what my body is doing every day through the 30-day challenges. But what are we trying to do here? What are we actually looking at trying to develop? What we're trying to do is we're trying to get a psychological reward for completing something. We're going to be able to try new forms of exercise, new diets. We're going to gamify our diet by competing against other people. We're going to build community by expanding our social networking. But more importantly, we're going to be able to break up the training routine, break up the diet routine so we can get through the known times where we're going to see plateaus throughout the year. What this is going to do is it's going to help me develop a routine. It's going to help me develop a daily routine, a weekly routine, and eventually a monthly routine that is necessary in order to develop the consistency necessary in order to see long-term benefits from lifestyle changes. We do not get lifestyle changes immediately. More importantly, there's a couple of things we have to worry about when we start looking at a lot of these 30-day challenges. A lot of 30-day challenges can be based off of actual spot specific changes that might take place, which we know does not occur. They're based off of very poorly designed and very poorly implemented exercise physiology principles that do not allow for long-term benefits to take place that can actually cause more harm than good. Or they end up leading to some sort of dissatisfaction because they're focused on body issues, not necessarily performance issues. But more importantly, a lot of them don't take into account the fact that we have to have a self-motivating, self-selected, and self-monitored set of behaviors that we want to do. If we're doing things that we don't want to do, or if we're focused on what the scale is telling us, we end up having poor issues that come about. We also end up within this gamification, if we end up overly comparing ourselves with other people, we can have body dissatisfaction come into play, and we can start having body dysmorphic issues. If we start focusing on calories, we can end up having detrimental effects on our physiology. If we want to stop doing the yo-yoing within these 30-day challenges or using these 30-day challenges, we need to avoid the quick fixes. We need to make sure that we are doing stuff not based off of calories, but based off of nutrients. We're doing stuff based off of the choice of exercises that we want to do, developing sustainable, healthy behaviors. Sustainable, healthy behaviors that allow us to have periodization, that allows us to have long-term gains that we can keep, long-term modifications that we can keep, long-term preventative measures that we can keep that will encourage continuous improvements throughout the year. Because that's what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to this continuous improvement throughout the year so that we can actually meet the resolution goals that we have set for ourselves. And the way in which we are able to do this by utilizing that periodization idea is utilize the 30-day challenges as small little increments within the periodization where we're able to break up what we're doing, where we're able to know that we can get through stopping points, we can get through plateaus by simply changing what we're doing. By changing what we're doing, we're changing the stress on the body. By changing the stress on the body, we're going to get a continuous set of adaptations taking place. This is going to allow me to break up my exercise routine into the microcycle, the mesocycle, and the macrocycles that we talk about in terms of periodization of exercise. As long as those periods are established based off of specific goals at the end of the training block, where the micro goal is going to lead to the meso goal, and the meso goal is going to lead to that macro goal, where the training blocks will allow me to have specific training responses. And those training responses will lead to variable training throughout the year to encourage for long-term adaptations. This is where we have to understand where our goals have to be set. And based on what we have found in our own research as it relates to long-term use of exercise or long-term use of diet, we need to make sure these microcycles are weekly goals. What do I intend to have accomplished by the end of the week? Where we do not focus on weight, but we focus on performance, where we do not focus on weight, but we focus on changes in lifestyle. These micro goals will lead to meso goals, which are going to be monthly goals, where we know that we start to have plateau effects taking place in between 4 weeks and 8 to 12 weeks of continuous training or continuous dieting, where we will see the maximum amount of change taking place at about 4 weeks worth of time. And that maximum amount of change will start to drop as we start to reach to 12 weeks and beyond, meaning that we have to change up what we're doing if we're hoping to have continuous responses throughout the year, where we're focused on specific goals to maximize the effectiveness that we want, whether that specific goal is becoming stronger, whether that specific goal is increasing our muscle endurance, our core stability, our core strength, whether that specific goal is increasing our cardiorespiratory and our musculoskeletal endurance, whether that specific goal is learning how to go about measuring what we're putting into each of our meals, how to go about doing food prep for each of our meals and figuring out what is a serving size and how much food we should be eating with each meal, or how we can go about logging our macros and our micros within the meals without becoming overly focused on the foods and the specific foods, as long as we're meeting our nutritional needs, not our caloric balance needs. It's about the nutrients that we're eating, not the calories that we're eating. Using challenges in these focused behaviors where we're not going to have a coerced environment, where we're going to be able to have specific goals that we want to meet, where we're choosing the challenges that we want to choose, that we're not being forced to choose. We're able to reach our health and fitness resolutions throughout the year, using the 30-day challenges, using the 60-day challenges, using the 90-day challenges as stepping stones to that fitness resolution. This is going to allow us to incorporate the periodization to ensure that we have long-term potentiation. This is going to allow us to establish micro goals and meso goals to allow us to reach that resolution that we have set for ourselves. But we have to be careful when we're setting these goals, particularly when we set our meso goals, and particularly when we set our long-term macro goals, our resolutions for the year. This is where we want to make sure that we're establishing our goals based off of not the scale and not our weight, because this can become a negative reinforcer, but based off of performance measurements, cardiorespiratory, cardiovascular, musculoskeletal fitness, not what the scale has to say. And this is where we have to break into and look at what is our functional analysis. What can we do? What do we hope to be able to do? What is our desired functional outcome from doing these 30-day challenges, where we're looking at the functional, where we're looking at the performance, not looking at what the scale has to say, not being overly focused on our calorie expenditure or our caloric deficit, making sure that our nutrients are being met, whether those nutrients are the macronutrients or the micronutrients necessary to have normal physiological functions. If we're able to do this, we're able to limit the restrictiveness. We're able to make this a want to. And we have to remember that we're always simply competing against ourselves, even if we're developing a social network. This is going to develop a routine. This is going to develop consistency across the days, across the weeks, across the month, and through the months into the year, that will eventually allow us to establish and meet our New Year's resolution for fitness, regardless of which challenge we might specifically want to try to do, as long as we're doing the challenges that we want to do, not the challenges that we're being forced to do. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you get a bit out of the conversation. If you have questions or comments about the idea about the 30-day challenges or how you might go about incorporating them into your routines, please make sure you leave those in the comments below. Please make sure you give us the big thumbs up, that 5-star rating. Please make sure you're subscribed and have clicked the bell to get alerts. Please make sure you're sharing everything with your friends and family. Please follow us on all the various platforms here on YouTube, as well as the quick takes on Instagram and Threads, the podcast, as well as the written stuff in Substack.